Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to All Sex Talk, your channel of alternative sexuality. This is Master Taíno, and today we're going to talk about leather families. It's a topic very dear to me because that's what I dreamed to do from the very beginning of my journey. For many reasons, in part because I become from large families, so that the concept was very vivid for me. But why this thing of leather families? Why is important? I'm going to quote my friend Guy Baldwin, who says, what is in his definition, or this was part of a speech that he did years ago. He said, this is the group of people who care about us enough to share the important feelings and experiences that come with living life. For me, this is always include the leather SM fetish parts of myself. That is a quote from Guy Baldwin, a leather icon in the United States, also a therapist and an author of books. What Guy is talking here is that what we do in many occasions, more often than not, we cannot share with our own families. So we don't have the support of our biological family to be who we are. So we cannot be isolated. So we need to create a family within our community to be able to survive, to be able to have the support that we need and be with like-minded people. That's what it's pretty much all about. So I define that there's many ways that we in our community define a family, the concept of family. Some more broad, some more specific. Let's start with the broad. The community. That's the first family that we have. All the community become our tribe, our family. And that's where we hang out. Those are the people who understand us, who are like us, and that we could talk freely about what we do and our feelings, etc. And when we're looking for relationships, that's where we found it. Sometimes, often, young people come, well, how I found a girl who is kinky or a partner who is kinky? Well, come to the community. That's where they are. And then within the community, they are organizations, they are leather clubs, they are events where you have specific people that share. And you are part of the leather club, well, you got some brothers. It's like a fraternity in college. So you have a group of brothers there, and that become a family, the club family. And those people are important to you. I have been in a leather club for almost 30 years, and most of the members has been as much. So we are close, we are friends, we are family. When you belong to an organization, the same. Or when you go to an event. There are many events in the United States, for example, that people come year after year, including the one that I produced, the Master Slave Conference in the Washington, D.C. area. People who come to the Master Slave Conference, for short MSC, they become part of the MSC family because they have a lot of friends there who have something in common. We are all in Master Slave dynamic. So that's why we are close. That's why we would like to see each other every year at the conference. But there is like that, there is many other events, IML, MAL, South Plain Leather Fest, like that. There's plenty of events out there. And people who come consistently to an event become family. And they cannot wait year after year to come back and be with the family. That's part of the support that we need. We also have some special individuals in our life, within our community, that become very close to us, and we call it family. In my case, I have several of those, but particularly I want to mention two of them, Master David and Lady Lynette. Both are deceased recently, but they were my leather sister and my leather brother, because we have so many things in common that we enjoy and we care for each other. Master David was my big brother, you know, and he was very supportive. And Lady Lynette was an amazing woman. And I lost most of them, unfortunately, but they were family. Why they were not part of my family, that I'm going to talk in a moment, because they have their own families. But us as friends within the community and doing things together, we consider ourselves family. Now, let's go to the households. The households are the people who live together. And this could be done by God any way you want. Usually it's a master with one slave or two slaves. Sometimes there is a dominant couple who has several slaves. You know, we don't have rules to create our relationship, but usually are people who live together. Sometimes some members live away and come often to meet with the other members of the family. So that is a family specific because they live like any other family in the same house. Then that's the way I started with my slaves. And then I moved to what I have now, who is what I will call a back patch leather family. It's a leather family where members use the leather vest with the patch, with the coat of arms, that we could call it, of the family, similar to the leather clubs. But these are not people living together. In my leather family right now includes obviously my slave who live with me, and then include other couples and other singles, gay or straight, who are close part of my family. And they are like the aunts and the cousins and the stuff, you know, that is having people that we care for. And we are close together. And we meet together like any other family. And it's important in the leather families that you know, we have evolved in the community. When I started, all my people around me, all my slaves were gay because I'm a gay man. Now I got a lot of straight people in both in my household or in my leather family. More than half of the members of my leather family are heterosexual or bisexuals. We even have a non-binary member. And in my household, as my slave, besides my gay male slaves, I had one time female slave, and one time I have a straight man slave. So we don't follow rules. That's in this type of relationship. We don't follow rules. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. So how we call it? I call it leather family. That is because it's a concept. I come from the leather community. It's a concept that I know and that fit me. But other people call it household, the household or master or service or whatever. Others call it just house, the house of X or Y. Others call it tribe, but that's a very common name as well. Even I have heard about pack. The name doesn't matter. It's the concept of creating a family, okay? So within all these groups, let me talk specifically about the poly household. There is a fantasy and there's a reality. I talk a lot about those things. The fantasy is, oh yeah, 1, 2, 3 slaves to have sex all the time. No, that's not the way it works. The reality is that there's two types of math that I talk about. My math, original math, I used to say 1 slave is a lot of work, 2 slave is twice the work, and 3 slave is 3 times the work. Then a master friend of mine came one time with a class about this topic, and he came with a different type of math. That is, when you have a relationship with 1 slave, you have 1 relationship. When you have a relationship with 2 slaves in your house, you have 3 relationships. The relationship with a slave 1, your relationship with a slave B, and the relationship between a slave A and B. Get it? And if you got 3 slaves, you keep adding. Those are 6 relationships that you're dealing with. So be careful. Don't jump on this thinking that this is all good. It's a lot of work. It's complicated. 1 relationship is complicated. Having more than 1 relationship is complicated. Something I have said before here, and I'm going to repeat. Don't get into poly, don't get into multiple relationship if it is not for you. Don't never do it because your friends are doing it. Do it because it's come from your heart. It's something that you need to have a relationship with one from more than one person. The other good thing, as I mentioned with my leather family, is that now more and more there are people building relationships with people of different sexual orientation. And that's very common. I could give several examples. A gay man with a female slave, uh, a gay man with a lesbian, a straight man with a gay a slave, whatever. So the important thing to finish is that all these households, all these families, we create them the way it works for us. That is the important thing. You feel what you need, what is your concept, what you want to accomplish, and then you build your family around that. And also, one last advice is make sure that the family has something in common. For example, in my conference, in my family, excuse me, in my family, everybody has a role in the Master Slave Conference, who is kind of a family project. So that's all for today. I hope that explained the basics of what all these leather families is all about. Again, contact me, FedLive, Facebook, under my name. Subscribe if you have done so. Let me know if you have any idea or you have any question. Please contact me. I have been receiving many messages and I love them. So I will see you in the next time.